All right, so this video is going to cover this HTML tags, processing, FRQ. So let's do this. It says millions of web pages on the internet are formatted in HTML. The hypertext markup language, HTML text contains embedded tags, formatting instructions enclosed in angle brackets with an opening and closing bracket. Okay, so the formatting tags often come in pairs where the opening tag indicates the beginning of some formatting. For example, italics, bold, and underline, and the closing tag indicates the end of the formatting. The closing tag contains the same keyword or instruction as the opening tag, but preceded by a slash, the dash character. The following example shows a line of HTML text and illustrates the way it might be displayed on the screen. So it says and then in italics, the I tag has an opening and closing tag around quick. And then there's a bold tag around brown, the quick brown fox, and a bold tag around jumps and over, because it starts here and it ends here. But then it starts underlining under over the lazy. Okay, and you can see where it's underlined, dog. Okay, and so you can actually see this too. If we let's go to just Google and look at some HTML code real quick so you can kind of see this. So all you do is right click and then you view page source. And this is all HTML. Well, most of it right here, this is all probably it's JavaScript. There are HTML tags in here, and if I can find some of them. So this is the closing head tag. Let's see if I can find the opening head tag, because there's just a ton of code in here. Content, the worlds. It's just too much. How about we go to a different one? Let's find one that I can actually, I don't know, CNBC. Let's see if I can find some of the tags in here. View page source. Because Google just doesn't have a lot of information anyway. Page source. Okay, so all right, so see where it says title, it says stock markets, business news, financials, earnings, CNBC. That's this right here. Stock, you can see where it says excuse me, stock markets, business news, financial earnings, CNBC. So this is inside the head tag in a title tag. But if we were to dig through this whole thing, we could, look at all the different HTML code that's in here. Let's see. Yeah. Anyway, there's just too much to go through, and that's not really the point of this. You would need to take a web design class, but you're getting to see basically what these tags do, okay? So processing HTML text may involve such tasks as removing HTML tags from the text or verifying that opening and closing tags come in matching pairs. Okay, so if you have an opening tag, you must have a closing tag, because think about this. If this opened italics, then that would mean without the closing italics tag, you would make the entire sentence italics, and you may not want to do that. So all opening tags should have a closing tag, and you identify the closing tag with a dash. All right, so in this question, we deal with the text represented as a string object. We assume that this HTML text contains only complete tags. All opening and closing characters, properly delimited tags, and do not otherwise occur inside tags or anywhere else in the text. Segments of text formatted with different tags may overlap. In the above example, the word over falls into the overlapping bold and underlined segments. You will write a few methods of the HTML processor class for processing HTML text. All right, so this is your main HTML processor, and this is your text string. So if I were to do this, if I were you, I would, you're writing this out, write out the index. Okay, whoops. So, and then what I also like to do above the zeros, so that'd be the 10s, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and then that's 70. Okay. Anyway, you create your object, and then you're going to call these different methods that we're going to create, okay? And I'll set those up in NetBeans when I write. And so it says your output should be, so this is your find first. You're finding the first text, the first tag. It's going to be the I tag. That would be the first one it finds, okay? This would remove that I tag, so you can see it's removed from here, and this would be remove all tags, so then this one removes all of it, and that's our sentence that we come up with, and all the tags are removed. All right, so part A, it says write the find first tag method of HTML processor class as started below. The method finds and returns the first tag in a given HTML text. The method returns null if no tags are found. So you got to think about the methods that we know. We know char at and we know index of. So how would you use one of those? I would use index of, and I would find this, and then I would find I'd find the first occurrence of that and the first occurrence of that. And that would be index of. So index of that and index of that would return the 4 and the 6. Once you have that, then you can figure out how to grab that. So let's open up our so I have the same thing here, only the only problem I have is I need to fill this out. 5 6 7 8 9 0, and that would be our 7 right there. All right, so find first. Basically, I gave you guys all this code. I'm going to go in here and write my find first. So it's going to be a public string find first tag where I pass in the text and I got to find the first tag. So what I would do is I just do int first index, and that's going to be equal to my text dot index of, and int second index, and that's going to be equal to my text dot index of. Okay, so that would find my first opening tag and first closing tag, and then I would say if first index is greater than or equal to 0. So again, if you don't find a first index, then it means that there's no tags in there, okay? So all we would do is we would return the text. So if we find it, because if this doesn't find it, it returns -1, right? So we find it. If we find it, then we say substring, and we do first index. So in this case, our first index, it would return 4, and then our second index would return position 6. Okay, so but remember with substrings, you really want to go. We would want to go to 7. So we find it at 6, and we need to add 1 to it, and that would give us, our first index. So let's do that. So we first index, comma second index plus 1. Okay, and then if we don't find anything, then we return null. Okay, So we go in here, and if we run it, and I'm also going to do a null for you guys so you guys can see this too. Let's say I had instead string text2 is equal to whoops, that's not what I want. Okay, so it found the first one, but let me put one in there where, you know, it would return null. So I'll say text2 and then run it. Yep, null. Okay. So, and again, I'll just comment that out. I don't need to do text right there. So again, it finds the first occurrence of your opening, and then it finds your first occurrence of your closing, right? And then it's just your first to the end plus 1, so it includes that, and so that's what it returns, the first one. Okay. So we want to remove now the text. We pass the text, and then we want to remove the first one. Okay. All right, so this would be public string remove. And I've got string text, and I've got the string that I want to remove. So we want to do an int first index equals the text dot index of the str. So remember, again, we're passing in this, so we're doing we're checking to see where the first occurrence of that occurs. Okay. And so if I did a system.out.println, let me just return null right here. Let's return text. Okay, but either way, we should do first index. That should return 4 right there. So let's just look at this real quick. Okay, so to the number 4. So it finds that starting at position 4, all right? So I can remove that. So I know that works. And then we want to find the beginning of our new index. So we want to find, you know, we found beginning of that, and then we want to find the beginning of this. So where that is. So that's where you would do int. Let's do begin of new index equals the first index. So first index is 4, plus we want to do the length of this. Okay, because ideally we're going to add this and then add all of this together to give us our new our new string. Okay, we're not really removing this per se, but we're rebuilding the string with that, and then we're rebuilding it with that. We're going to add that together, and it's like we basically just skip that. So we start at 4, and then we want to figure out let's see here, the index plus the str.length. Okay, so our string length is actually, you know, our string is, it's equal to this, right? So our string index is, our string index is 0, 1, 2. Okay, so the length of that is 1, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so our first index is 4. 4 plus 3 gives us 5, 6, and then 7. Okay, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 4 plus 3 is 7. Okay, and that's going to be the beginning of where we're going to start. So right there at 7 was where we're going to start. So if, again, the first index, we actually find it. If that is not -1, it's greater than 0, then our new text is going to be equal to text.substring starting at 0 to the first index. Okay, so that would give us 0 to the first index of 4, so that would give us THE blank space. Okay, plus we want to do, the beginning of the new index to the very end. All right, so that's where we would do there we go, plus text dot substring begin of new index. Okay, so that would give us right here 0 to the first, which would be THE, and then the beginning of the new index gives us quick brown fox jumps over. So if I run this, well, first I need to return the text. So this is returning the new text. This is returning if it doesn't find the first index. Okay, so let's do that. Or it doesn't find that. So the quick, okay, so we removed that. So if my sentence, let's say I have text 2 here, it would just return the original. Okay, so the quick brown, okay, so let's move that back to text. All right, so that's done. Okay, the first two are pretty easy to follow because you're only doing one of them. The third one's hard because you're basically needing now to figure out more of a complex algorithm to do it over and over and over again until they're done. Okay, so this one is going to be called remove all tags. Okay, so we got public string remove all tags, and so we're going to pass in our string text. All right, so I kind of switched over here. Let's read the method. It says for part C, the remove all tags, because it's not just removing the opening tags, but you also need to figure out how to remove the closing tags. So let's read about this. It says write a method remove all tags from the HTML processor class. The method deals only with a subset of HTML tags. It assumes that so we're making assumptions that a given text contains only complete simple tags, such as a U and a closing U. So that's underline, or cite and cite, where a closing tag differs from the corresponding opening tag only by the / character after. All right, so the closing tag must come after the opening tag. The method returns the text with all tags removed, or the original text if no tags were removed. However, the method should return the string error if the tags in the text do not match. No closing tag found after an opening tag. That's going to be important, okay? You can assume that the method removes and find first tag work as specified regardless of what you wrote in parts A and B. All right, cool. So it wants you to implement. It's telling you to implement the find first tag and the remove methods, which we wrote in A and B. So even if they don't work, they still want you to call them. All right. So let's think this through here. So I'm going to have a string called revised text, and that's going to be equal to text. All right. And then I'm going to have a string start tag equal to the find first tag. And I'm going to pass in the revised text. All right. So we get our string in here, it gets passed off into here, and we're going to see if we can find a tag to begin with, an opening tag, and the opening and closing. Okay, if it finds it, and it's not -1, it finds it and it will store it in the start tag. Okay, because that's this right here. So if it doesn't, it returns null. Okay, so that's where we do while start tag is not equal to null. So it finds a tag in there. If not, then your while loop is done. And we return the revised text. Okay. So, but if it does find it, we go into the while loop. So if it finds it, then our revised text is going to be equal to remove our revised text, comma, start tag. Okay, so remember, this finds it. If it finds it, then we get in here and we want to pass in the revised text to remove, and then we pass in, the tag that we want to remove. And so that will remove it using this up here, which we did. Remember, it just removes it, and it doesn't really remove. What it does is it rebuilds our string from here, and it pretty much skips that, and then it adds that in. Okay, so then our new text is and we saw this run. Let's see if we can do it again real quick. The quick, okay, so instead of the opening tag I quick, it's just the quick, all right? So we rebuilt that string right here in the revised text. So this, after the first run, is this right here, okay? You know what? Sometimes it's just best to display it. So let's just do that. Just do that real quick. All right, it's doing it over and over again because I've got an infinite loop. That's fine. Okay. All right, so I can get rid of that. So now we need to do our error checking stuff. So we remove that first text, okay, that first tag, that first I tag. And remember right here, it says the method should return the string error if the tags in the text do not match. So no closing tag found after the opening tag, okay? So this is this should be fairly easy, but you got to kind of think through how to do this. So we're going to say int length of the revised text dot length. So that's going to give us the new length without the I in there. So it would look something like, here. It'd basically look like this. So if this is what revised text is right now, okay, then we got okay, so that would be, I gotta put this in there. Let's see this real quick. What? Oh, shoot. So, sorry about that. So, get rid of that, and now, so now our revised text looks like this. Okay? So we got rid of that I. Our revised text looks like this. And so the length of it is 67 plus one more is 8 because we start at 0. So our length is 68 right here, okay? So we're checking our length. We're then going to do something again. We're going to do revised text is equal to, we're going to remove, whoops, I totally screwed up. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. I totally screwed up. So let's think about the end tag now, and then we'll go back to this. Sorry, I skipped some lines, and I forgot to do this. So we'll have an end tag, and that's going to be equal to, sorry, my computer's, our end tag is equal to that, plus the start tag dot substring 1 comma start tag dot length. All right, let's think about this. If our start tag is this right here, okay, and we give it an index 0, 1, 2, okay. So the start tag, we start at 1, and we have this, okay? So 1 to the length. The length is 3, right? There's nothing at, okay, so 1 to 3, remember it's a substring, so 3 minus 1 gives us that. So it would return this right here. So we have this plus I and then the closing tag, okay? So that's our end tag, all right? So what we want to do then, going back down here, we have our length. That's fine. Sorry, I skipped this, but that gives us our end tag. We want to then remove the revised text, and then we want to remove the end tag. Okay. And so this should remove the end tag, which would be this right here. Okay. If it doesn't find it, it's just going to return the original text. Okay. And then we have a problem. So we're assuming that it's going to remove something. So this is our error check right here. I'll just say error check. Okay. If the length that we created right here of this, okay, if the length of that is equal to the revised text dot length, then we'll return our error message. Okay, because remember, our revised text should remove that. Okay, and so then they would have a different length. This would have the original length right here, and then this would have the length with this removed right here. So this length and this length would be different. But if they're equals, it means that there was not a closing tag to our opening tag. Okay, and that's where we want to return our error. All right. All right, so that gives us our error checking, so that's good. And then all we need to do is just do this over and over again. So then we have a start tag is equal to, we find the first tag, and we pass in the new revised text. Okay, and so what, after this code right here is done, revised text should look like this. Okay. Right here, I guess right here. So I'm going to say our new revised text should look like this. Okay, and let me remove it. So then we have that gone. Okay, and then all we need to do is just remove that. So our new length is now 64, which is one more because we start at 1 when we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. All right, so then this is our new revised text, and all we do is pass that into find first, and find first will find it, or find the first tag now, which would be our bold tag. If it finds it, it's going to return it to here. And then you can go back up and run it again. If it doesn't find it, it returns null, and if it's null, then you're done and you just return the revised text. So let's see if this works. Okay, yep, it's doing it. So it will just do it over and over and over again until everything is removed. And then, you've got your algorithm and you're done. So again, try writing this stuff out by hand and then watch this video for clarification and to kind of have a framework how to think this through. But this is another hard program, and my hope is that you could get most of it. If you could get all of it, that'd be great. But where we're at now, we'll see how much of this you could do on your own. So anyway, this video is done.